Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. It's September 1985. Just the other day, August 31st, I left the Winter Garden Theater for the last time. It's a little bittersweet. It's kind of like a breakup. But like a breakup, it's like the old song goes, I feel partly brokenhearted and a little bit blasé. Because I'm very excited because I got a new job to go to. I am going to be the technical director at the Double Image Repertory Company. Yes, I've never been a TD before. I've never been a tech director before. I've been the carpenter. I've been the master carpenter, the main carpenter. I've been the main painter. I've been responsible for a lot of stuff, but I've never officially been the tech director before. I'm in charge. I'm responsible of the two sets, count them, two, that we will be moving in and out of each other for the next couple of months. These sets will be in repertory. And for the rehearsal process, we'll be switching them every night. That's a lot of work because these count them, two sets are both very heavy and both very detailed, both very elaborate and both very heavy. The first one is for a set called Filthy Rich by George Walker, a Canadian playwright. An excellent script. Takes place in a private eye's office in New York City, complete with fish tank with fish in it and everything. Yes. The other set is not as realistic. It's more expressionistic. It's a bar room on the edge of forever. Or is it? Yes. Or is it in limbo? That's for a play called Savage in Limbo by John Patrick Shanley. Another excellent script. And two really beautiful sets. And I liked them both, especially the heavy one. Oh, that's right. They were both heavy. Did I mention? All right. So the Double Image Repertory Company doesn't have a home venue. They will be renting the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater on 49th Street by 9th Avenue for the duration of the run of Filthy Rich and Savage in Limbo. Yes. And so every night we got to switch out the set. And I've got a rather ineffectual crew. A bunch of people who are not very good at moving things around, moving heavy things around, and their job is moving heavy things around. The problem is that these people are not very good at doing something, even when they've already done it several times before. It was like the first time, every time we did it. I got sick of the sound of hearing the sound of my own name. Harry. Harry. We need some help with the hubba because we don't know hubba. It was exhausting. Anyhow, it was a lot of work and there was a lot of drinking afterwards. Thank heavens there was a bar right around the corner from 49th Street on 9th Avenue down there, and it happened to be a Blarney Stone. Yes. With a steam table and everything. Some of my favorite bars in town were the Blarney Stone. And they've got a bartender there, Noel, a fantastic fellow with a hell of an Irish brogue. And Noel and I got on a first name basis right away. I'd go into the Blarney Stone at around 2 a.m. because it would take we'd start shifting after the rehearsal was over at around 11. And it would take 3 or 4 hours, so 2 or 2:30, I'd stumble into the Blarney Stone and I'd say, Noel, 2! And he would put 2 pint glasses on the bar for me with a black and tan in each one, a half and half, stout and ale. Oh, I enjoyed that. So I'd take the first black and tan and I'd guzzle it. And then I would take and sip the other one and enjoy it while smoking a cigarette. It's the 80s, darling. We were smoking indoors. Yes, I was smoking right at the bar. And I would sit and sip and smoke as it should be. Now, this season went on with these grueling shifts in the middle of the night, usually finishing at 2 or 2:30 because the crew was, as I said. And this went on for a while until it closed. It was just an awful lot of exhausting work, and the show closed, and the Double Image Repertory Company, so called because they didn't want to be called Double Image Repertory Theater, which the initials spelled out DIRT. They didn't want to be Dirt. So they opted for Dirk, Double Image Repertory Company, DIRC. And on closing night of the season, they gave everybody in the company a 1/4-pint flask, silver plated and engraved DIRC. That'll give you an idea of what their attitude with the company drinking was. They were fine with it. They endorsed it. And by giving you a flask, actually kind of encouraged it. Well, closing night, this very night that I did get that little cute little quarter pint flask, a sipping flask, they had a great big party. The Double Image Repertory Company footed the bill down here at Limelight, one of the coolest clubs in town, here on 22nd Street or something like that. It was an ex-church that they turned into a gay nightclub. It was the coolest venue in town with the beautiful high vaulted ceilings with disco balls up there and lights spinning and flashing and all that stuff. A whole wall of TV screens with random porn on each screen. Well, okay. And a little stage area up front. Well, it used to be a church, so there is a stage area up at the front where they would have bands, or tonight's entertainment was a DJ at the Limelight. We had a DJ at the Limelight for tonight's festivities for the closing night party of the Double Image Repertory Company. Yes. Well, I got down there late, and so did a couple of the crew members, because when the show was over, everybody fled the place like rats from a sinking ship to get down to the Limelight to start guzzling. And the crew and I had to sort of finish up and clean up and make sure that it was nice for tomorrow's major strike. Right. Got down to the Limelight after the party was well underway, and there was some trouble at the door about getting me in because I didn't have a Double Image ID on me. But I did have my Double Image Repertory Company flask with DIRC on it. And I said, look, and I showed them that, and they said, oh, then you must be with the party. You're free to go in. And I'm like, thank you very much. And so I went in, and there's the Double Imagers, and we're all hanging around, having our drinks. We're celebrating. We're very happy because that was a grueling season. You know, this last couple of months was just grueling. And so we're all having a good time. And the party is already well underway, and the DJ announces a dance contest. Well, I was in a pretty good mood that night because everything was pretty much over, and I smoked some reefer on the way down before I got to the Limelight, so I'm in pretty good spirits. And the DJ announces a dance contest, and he says it was a Hucklebuck dance contest. The Hucklebuck! And I'm like, okay, the Hucklebuck is a 1950s novelty song that they played in a episode of The Honeymooners, and Ed Norton, Art Carney, danced the Hucklebuck in this episode of The Honeymooners. Well, I had seen that episode. I had seen Ed do the Hucklebuck, and I knew how to Hucklebuck, and I knew that my Hucklebuck looked pretty much like my broken puppet as well. Yes. So they said, all right, everybody, we're going to start the dance contest now. And they started to play Do the Hucklebuck. Yes. This big, long song. So I started out doing the broken puppet. And I'm doing everything I can because it's a contest. And there are judges walking around tapping people on the shoulder, not me. So I am hucklebucking, and I am doing the Kentucky Stomp, and I am doing the swoon, and I'm doing the Frankenstein droll. I am doing everything I can. I'm pulling out the stops, and the judges are walking around, tapping people out. The dance floor is slowly winnowing down. I'm still there. They're tapping people out, tapping people out. I'm still there. The hucklebuck is still going on, and I am pulling out all the stops. I am getting exhausted. I am winded and I'm sweaty, but I am going for it. I am doing the full-on broken puppet, the flying puppet, and everything. They're tapping people out, and eventually, dear listeners, they had tapped everybody else but me. I'm the last contestant, and for the last verse of the song, I had the dance floor to myself. It was fantastic. I'll tell you right now. I pulled out every one of the stops, doing everything that I could. The Kentucky Stomp like crazy, and of course, my best broken puppet. Well, the song ended. I had the dance floor to myself. And my brain is telling me, my brain is crying out in joy. Look, we cleared the dance floor in Manhattan at the Limelight, one of the coolest venues in town. I love this. The song ends and there's a huge round of applause, and I'm the only one out there, so I sort of take a couple of bows or something, and the DJ comes on and he says, "All right, everybody. This is a dance contest. We need more than one contestant. All right, we're going to play the Hucklebuck again. We already have our grand prize winner, obviously, but we're going to play the Hucklebuck again to determine second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh prizes." So they played the Hucklebuck again. And I'm out there. I got this sort of executive celebrity status. I've already won, so I'm just bopping around. I'm doing the Frankenstein droll. I'm doing the Ohio hop. I'm doing all the easier dances because I'm still sort of winded. And there are beautiful women who are coming up and dancing with me because I was already the winner. And so I'm dancing with them. And there was a beautiful but mean girl in our company in Double Image that she was dancing in the goddess pose like this. And she had a fantastic figure. So she was showing off her attributes and she won second prize. Yes. So Double Image Repertory Company placed very well in the dance contest. Yes. So first prize was at the end of the song, at the end of the contest, the first prize was a VHS tape of the Lost Honeymooners episodes. Yes, and so I won that. Hooray! I don't have a VCR. I'm probably not going to be able to watch this thing for years, but I got it anyway. Second prize was a book about the honeymooners. Oh, I sort of would have rather had the book. That's fine. I got first place. Hooray! Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh place were just drink tickets. But hey, I won the contest. And so we're standing around after the contest. Me and the Double Imagers, we're standing around talking, and I'm very excited, and people are sort of congratulating me. And who should walk up but Hollywood movie star Treat Williams? Yes, you saw Prince of the City. You saw Hair. Yes, Treat Williams walks up to me and he says, "Hey, I just wanted to say that was some dancing out there." And I said, "Why, thank you so much. My name is Harry." And I offered my hand to shake. He said, "Hi, I'm Treat." He shook my hand. He met my eyes when we shook hands. Fantastic. He said, "I just wanted to congratulate you because that was really some dancing out there. And I wanted to thank you too because I enjoyed that." And I'm like, "Well, thank you so much." And he says, "All right then." And poof, he was gone. And I'm like, "Well, that was uh, excuse me, I'm going to have to cough. All right. Aha! We're back. That was the first time that a celebrity had ever approached me before. Right. Fantastic. And what do you do? What do you do? You know, when a celebrity comes up, it was not the last time. No, it wasn't. And so what do you do when a celebrity approaches you? Well, you know what I do? I say kiss him on both cheeks and bum a cigarette. Just run with it. That's what I say. So, here we are. It's a random night in warm weather in late 1985. And it's another drunk night at Cafe Central, where the near great go to get drunk, and hoi polloi goes to get drunk also and watch the near great get drunk. Yes. And so the celebs are there. Some of the time, you never know who you're going to see. And it's crowded. It's a crowded, jammed night at Cafe Central. It is wall to wall, elbow to elbow, bottle to mouth. There are people everywhere, and there is a really long line in the restroom because there are two restrooms at Cafe Central, and one of them is out of order. The ladies' room is out of order, so we've got one restroom with a really long line, and I'm standing in that line. Well, it's very loud. It's very exciting. You can't tell what's going on. There's just a cacophony going on, and I'm waiting in line, and eventually I get up, and I'm next in line for the loo. When a great big guy comes up to me, and he leans over and he says, "Could somebody go in line in front of you? It's Liza Minnelli." And I'm like, and then he stepped aside, and there she was. Academy Award winner, Hollywood royalty, Judy Garland's daughter, Liza with a Z, herself and in person. She says, "Oh, hi. Oh, I want to thank you. Thank you for letting me go. I won't be very long. I'll be real fast. You'll see how fast." "Oh, you won't see how fast, but I promise I'll be real fast." And I said, "It's no problem at all, my dear. As a matter of fact, may I kiss your cheek?" And she said, "Oh, yes." And she turned her cheek, and I smooshed her on the right cheek. I said, "Thank you." She said, "Thank you." And then the door opened, and she swooped in there and shut the door. And I'm standing there, and I said, "Wow." And I said it out loud, but nobody heard it because there was such a cacophony in the room. I said, "Wow, I just kissed Liza Minnelli." So I'm waiting there. She said it won't be too long. Nobody notices, and nobody noticed it was Liza Minnelli. Nobody did. Everybody's too drunk and too self-absorbed. The only one who noticed it was the bouncer, and he's standing here, and he's scanning the room. Ooh, he's looking for ruffians or something like that, right? I'm waiting in line. She said it wouldn't be too long. And we're waiting in line. And then she eventually comes out. She said, "Oh, thank you for waiting. I told you it wouldn't be so long." I said, "It's no problem at all, my dear. As a matter of fact, may I kiss your other cheek?" She said, "Oh, well, yes." She offered her left cheek, and I smooched her on the left cheek. And then she said, and I said, "Thank you." And she said, "Well, thank you." She pulled out her cigarettes, and she started to fiddle with them. And I said, "Oh, Marlboro." She said, "Yes." I said, "May I?" She said, "Would you like one?" I said, "Yes, please." And so she gave me a Marlboro cigarette. Yes. And I said, "While I have your attention, if I may, I'd like to say that I always remember and always loved you in the movie Tell Me That You Love Me, Junie Moon." All right. Tell Me That You Love Me, Junie Moon was a 1970 made-for-television TV movie that I saw on TV and don't remember even 1 second of it other than that Liza Minnelli was Junie Moon in it. Yes. And so I said, when I have your attention, I always remember and always loved you in Tell Me That You Love Me, Junie Moon. And she said, "Junie Moon? Oh, my." And then her bouncer tapped her on the shoulder, and she said, "Oh, bye." And off she went. I had my cigarette. I slooped into the bathroom and shut the door, pulled down my pants and sat down on the commode. The seat was still warm. I had my prize. I had my free cigarette from Liza Minnelli, better than an autograph. And I'm sitting on a warm toilet seat, much more intimate than a handshake. I'll tell you that. Yes, you never know what any given day will bring you when you are in a New York city. I kept that cigarette, Yeah. All right. Thank you for coming along this journey. I look forward to telling you all about what happens next time.